Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Vancouver Convention Center. Our TED Talks are held here annually. My name is Andre Doan, and today I am going to be talking about Black mental health. And I will form a relationship between Black mental health with the internal and external conflicts in Brother by David Chariandy. For those who do not know what Brother is about, the story takes place with two brothers, Michael and Francis, who are the sons of Trinidadian immigrants living in Scarborough in a place called the Park. These young boys confront absent-minded prejudgment and racial discrimination while pursuing a music career for Francis and love for Michael. Their dreams are permanently destroyed by a shooting and the police crackdown that follows. Firstly, what is Black mental health and why is it important? Well, to answer that question, Black mental health are the individual and collective experiences that influence the wellness of the community. But that quote is by Philip J. Roundtree from that TED Talk right there. This can be caused by trauma through traumatic experiences like the loss of someone close, systemic racism, and more. This is important because just like any other mental health, it should be taken into consideration. Black mental health is just as important as any other, and it shouldn't differ from the mental health of other people. After all, it is mental health. The only thing is Black mental health is being ignored due to everything being black. Of course, everything in this case revolves around racism. So this is important. Black mental health should not be different from any other, but should be included as well because the inclusion of everyone matters. Secondly, I am going to talk about the constant racism and racial discrimination that is prevalent throughout the entire novel. This is an external conflict in the story, and to be more precise, it is an individual versus society because Michael strives to be recognized in society. He is always evaluated based on his skin color throughout the entire story. Michael faces many types of prejudice and racial discrimination, whether he takes a walk on the street, going for a stroll, or even walks into a convenience store. Everyone sees him as a threat, a danger that treats him differently than anyone else, and because he doesn't fit into society. With that being said, I'm going to read you a quote from the book. The father hated Francis and me, recognizing the look of no money on our faces. We had little chances of sneaking into his store when he was working. David Chariandy, page 15 of Brother. In relation to the quote, during the incident where Michael and Francis walked into the convenience store, he described that the manager of the store had a sense of contempt. And hate against them, of the regard of no money on their faces. This goes to show that Michael, on an everyday basis, faces racial discrimination as a colored teen, as he's being prejudged and treated differently. This shows that all Black people are this is the prejudice that shows that all Black people are poor, and it gives them a restriction and less equality. Many people discriminate against Black people due to multiple causes, and in this case, being poor is described as one in the scene. Thirdly, I'm going to talk about grief. Grief is an important internal conflict that was presented through the whole novel of Brother by David Chariandy. As Aisha moved back into Scarborough to deal with her grief of her dad who passed away to Michael, who I am mainly talking about, Michael demonstrates his grief by trying to forget about Francis, his elder brother, who had passed away a decade ago. He tried to make himself busy and keep his mother away from any incidents or circumstances that connect and relink her to the past by paying attention and focusing on his mother's mental state of mind that she was going through. Going through complicated grief. David Chariandy, page 66. This was one way he was trying to deal with his grief, and possibly the only way as we know so far in this novel. Here is the next quote that I'm going to read to you. I pushed through the crowd towards mother and grabbed her elbow to help her up from the couch. The photographs on her lap scattering to the floor. Michael, says Aisha, what are you doing? unconscious, suddenly, squeezing my mother's arm. She pulls me away from my grip and smacks me across the face. For a moment, we stare at each other. David Chariandy, 96. This is very significant and important due to the fact that this was talked through the whole complete story. We learned that Michael is dealing with grief of his brother just as much as his mother, although he decides to, to hide it through helping her mom with her mental health. This is why we know he gets protective about his mother when she shows all her old memories to everyone in the house. So, with a close examination of the two conflicts, the main takeaway, or what I have learned from Michael's experience and from Black mental health, is that it is okay to grieve over the death of someone, but we have to move on. Many people settle in their past for a long time, for a very long time, and it is very unhealthy for us to grieve for that length. We must remind ourselves that our past experiences and or encounters are what made us who we are today. Your past was significant in the light of fact that it taught you lessons that nobody could ever instruct you. We attempt to see individuals and encounters of the past as educators that permit us to comprehend ourselves shockingly better than the previous. Thank you for joining my TED Talk.